But I think one of the really cool things about your story is you kind of said it earlier. You're not afraid to be the villain. You're not afraid to tell all the dark spots that we often don't want to tell.
It's how you free yourself of them.
And even with AI today, I think part of the reason it's so interesting having these conversations, what I hope, if you're listening right now that you're taking away from this is sometimes I think in modern society today, you're told a lot the things that won't help you, but might make you feel better in that moment. So if you go to ChatGPT and go, I fought with Chris and told him he was a terrible entrepreneur because he did this and now we're in debt and this happened, AI will probably say back to you, you're right, that was inappropriate how he did that and you are in debt, and it'll validate you. And so instead, we got to have Mel or somebody yelling at you a little bit to say.
Yes. And
maybe not.
Yeah. And there was this moment in our marriage where Chris and I were fighting, and he's like, I feel like you don't believe me. And I said, I do not believe in your ability to get us out of this. It was the truth. And there was something in that brutal moment of honesty he needed to hear, I needed to say, because I will say for myself that I was part of the brainwashing that happens to women of assuming that it was my partner's responsibility to pay for my life, that it was his job to be successful so that I could have the things that I wanted. And that if I made money, it was my money. It was for the extras. His money was our money. And there was something that happened in just saying it out loud, that something shifted in me where I started to have this brutal moment with myself that was like, bitch, wake up. Like, if you want things to change, it's your job to change. You're capable of making money. You're capable of figuring this out. You're capable of getting a job. Stop bitching at him. Stop pointing the fingers and look in the mirror and see that if you can define what you want and you're willing to give up the timeline on it, you can actually make something amazing happen. And, I said I was very negatively motivated. Once you admit to yourself, this motherfucker's not going to get these liens off this house. If I want to keep this house, it's on me. All right, we're selling that car. All right, we're pulling the kids out of town soccer. All right, cut the cable, everybody. Can't pay for it anyway. All right, I guess I better find not one job, but 3 jobs. And that's what I did. And so you don't have to be motivated by this big, beautiful, brilliant thing. I wasn't trying to take my kids to Disney or go to buy a beach house, or I was trying to pay my bills. So there are going to be moments in your journey, whether, you're going to be more entrepreneurial at work, or you're going to be an entrepreneur in terms of your profession. There are going to be moments where you are in crisis and survival mode. And that was my motivation. Pain of sitting around hoping that somebody was going to come in and fix this. Pain of drinking myself into the ground as a way to numb all the awful thoughts. That finally got harder than just getting my butt out of bed and looking for a job and going for a walk and calling my parents and saying, we're in deep trouble. I need help. And explaining to friends and being kinder to Chris. Like the thing that I had been avoiding, that it's so easy to give other people advice. Oh my God. Because you could have heard this story and be like, Mel, you're an idiot. Get a job. Call the banks. Ask for money. Do something. Don't do what you're doing because it's not working. You will have a moment in time where the pain of your situation, finally, just avoiding what you need to do is harder than doing it. And so for the first, I don't know, however many years, it was just desperation, get a job, then get another job, then get another job. The first job I got was $25 an hour as a Saturday morning radio host. All-in show, a talk radio station in Boston.
You do have a great voice.
Thank you.
Do you get that a lot?
I do.
Bet. Do you think that you would, can you be really successful without having a massive failure at some point?
I don't think you can live a life without having a massive failure. You're going to have a massive failure if you're not successful. It's just life. Mm-hmm. And it's not about what's going to happen to you, because horrible things will happen to you. Unfair things are going to happen to you. They maybe already have. There are going to be amazing things that happen to you. It took me so long to recognize, while I was so busy trying to manage everything and everybody else, and I had lots of opinions and upsetness about the unfairness of this or that or the other, blah, 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 I was missing fact. It's not about what's happening out there. Power is in here. Your power is in now. What are you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. Through your actions and your attitude, you can make anything better. And that's not toxic positivity. That is the truth. It doesn't remove the very real issues that a lot of people face in the world today. It doesn't remove historical things that have kept people from gaining wealth. Like if you look at the way that Black families were discriminated against and unable and discriminated against and not able to buy a house, which is the single biggest form of the way we transfer generational wealth to people. And it has not just impacted their grandparents and their parents, but now the generation. That is real. That is not fair. It is a reality. And what are you going to do given where you are at this moment? Because you have to acknowledge that it's not fair. Then acknowledge that you, through your actions and through your attitude and through the fact that you live in this extraordinary moment. And I realize the world's fallen off its axis. There's a lot that feels wrong, but there's so much more information, support, and ways to solve problems that weren't even here 10 years ago. So what I don't ever want anybody to do in business or in life or relationships or mental or health, which mental health, I even hate that word because you know what mental health is? Happiness. It's managing your stress, not being a dick to people because, you're burnt out. That's what mental health means. Like we need a better word for it. We got to market it better, Codie.
Yeah. Well, also, why do you think that? I mean, nobody wants to stay in all the negative states, but could you imagine a person who had never experienced the deepest, darkest parts, that hadn't had the biggest highs, that hadn't been so angry and so sad and so upset? Why do we have to feel like we can't feel them? Why do we have to be happy all the time? Where's the context in that?
I think everybody just has this wild array of emotions, and that it has a lot to do, if I were to get like intellectual about it, has to do with the fact that we are wired to connect with other people. And when you experience any form of social rejection, whether it's walking down the hallway at middle school and, there's the cool kids and I'm the weird one, or nobody wants to be the weird one. And part of the brain that experiences social rejection is the same part of the brain where you experience physical pain. So you will viscerally move away from any experience where you're the weird one. This is why we're having such a huge problem right now with self-silencing, because especially the younger generation is so worried about feeling cringe, because cringe, oh my God, I don't ever feel cringe. And here's the truth. Cringe is actually doing it right. Because if you're going to do something where you step out of your comfort zone for the first time, you will feel cringy.
Yeah.
That is what it feels like to do something for the first time. And it also feels like social rejection and pain. And so if you feel cringy when you put up your first YouTube video, you did it correctly. If you feel cringy when you go to your first pitch meeting and ask your friends and family for money, and you're like, oh God, you did it right, because your body's saying, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And so I feel that people are uncomfortable, especially sharing the lows, because they are afraid of being judged. We had a grief expert on, Dan Kessler. He's so awesome. And he's hilarious. Like, who knows that if you're talking about grief, you'd be like snort laughing with somebody. And it's the one thing we're all going to experience. Nobody gets out of this alive. Like, we're all going to go through it. But he basically said the average time period that somebody reaches out for help for grief after somebody dies or has a living death, like, they have a stroke or Alzheimer's, 5 years.
Holy hell.
5 years.
Wow. Why?
The shame of feeling like you're supposed to be beyond it. And the shame of feeling like you're the only one. And so that keeps you trapped. And when you hold on to that kind of negativity, that suffering on your own, even if it's like, I can't figure out how to make this P&L work. I'm terrified that I'm not going to make payroll next month. Or your town awards are coming out. The person that secret shopped at your retail store was a real bitch.
Oof.
And now you're like, what are we going to do? Oh my God. And then you get frozen. There's people out there that can help you. You can ask for help. If you hold it all inside, it's going to get bigger.
Yeah.
And so I think we just do it reflexively because nobody wants to be the weirdo. And to me, it just is so liberating not hold that over my own head.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm proud of the crappy things I've done. It's not that I, am celebrating the negative things or the crappy things I said to Chris or the ways I've mistreated myself or other people. It's that the only way I can truly move on is if I give myself the freedom.
Yeah.
And you release it by being comfortable enough to talk about it.
You also seem to do one of the things that I love about your work online is probably a little funky, which is you really express so many emotions. And you like, I will never forget you know, Oprah sent this. I mean, the way Oprah sends a bouquet, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
That thing was the size of a basketball court. It was beautiful, but it was like, I've never seen a
It
bouquet that big.
was enormous. Thank God we had sliding glass doors in our house. It would not have actually come through.
Just in the driveway.
It was huge.
It's actually amazing. It's like, Oprah, most houses, this is the most. You can't go bigger.
It was like the size of these two chairs.
That's so funny. But what I love is sometimes like I go back to like the Taylor Swift lyrics even where, you know, she talks about how it is cool to try and it is cool to get excited. And if you are doing something incredible, like celebrate it. And I struggle with that sometimes. I don't know, I just keep going and I don't think about it and I don't take that moment to have that emotional
Okay, hold on a
connection.
second. Let me change this for you.
Oh, I can't wait.
These are the best days. Do not rip yourself off the opportunity of taking a moment every day, really savoring something that went well.
How do you savor it? What does that look like in your day?
So tell me something that went well today.
But I had an incredible conversation before you with a guy by the name of Joe Lamont, who is changing. Have you talked to this guy?
No, who's Joe
Actually,
Lamont?
oh my gosh. He started this school here called Alpha School.
Okay.
You should maybe
Oh
consider.
wait, I think I've heard about this.
Oh,
He's like it's like a Waldorf meets a this, meets a that, and
Yeah.
it's by all these entrepreneurs that started it.
So he has his schools across the U.S. are top 1% students in every single course and category that they have.
Wow.
The students learn in 2 hours a day, AI guided, and the rest of the day is self-discovery plus outings, etc.
I want to go there.
Yeah, me too. That's what I said. And it's actually a little funny because it used to be this hardcore private equity, I was like, how was your EQ before, Joe? And he was like, not high. And now he's the principal of the school. He's a billionaire. It's so fascinating to me though, he said this line to me that I try to sink in. I was like, well, can we change education in this country? If there's a mom listening that does, like her kid hates school. She's sitting there thinking, like crying, I don't want to go to school anymore. It's so awful. Why do you make me do this? But what's the alternative?
Right.
Can we change that in this country? And he looked at me and he was like, of course, absolutely. He's like, give not just me, but all of us a few years. And in 2 hours a day, we should be able to replace our curriculum and we should and then you know what his number one reason is to go to school? He was like, every child should love going to school. They should want to go to school more than they want to go on vacation. And I was like, I don't know what kind of fucking school you got, Joe, but that has never existed for me. So anyway, I had this beautiful conversation with him.
So let me tell you what to reflect on there.
Okay.
That in the middle of running this massive company and like being the CEO and having all these people whose salaries you can pay and all these people that you are impacting with your work who are going on to launch businesses and getting the support and the guidance that so many entrepreneurs don't have, you are taking time. You have the time to speak to people that help you grow and think in new ways. And how freaking cool.
So cool.
Is it that your life this way and you're self-aware enough to know that these types of conversations help you feel more empowered?
Do you think it's good for you or for anybody? Like, is it good for you to like show that bodily? Like I see you run out and grab that bouquet.
Yes.
Like, because you can say that in your head and be really cerebral about it. But do you think that people need to show that they're excited about life?
I wish people would. Because right now what people are showing is I'm beaten down by life. And look, there's very real things to be worried about and to feel stress around. There are very real problems that people have. This is not like just smile and your shit goes away. That's not what this is. This is counter programming to the negative program. The world is giving. And that you are wired for positivity. You're wired for growth. It's not a matter of whether or not you are, quote, spiritual, because you are wired for spirituality. They've looked at people's brains and there's circuitry in your brains, because spirituality, by definition, is this belief and awareness that there is something larger than you, this existence. And that day to day, you have moments where you feel connected to it. Spirituality can mean that you're out sitting in a deer stand. You hear a crack in the woods. Then through the trees, you see a bardo. You just have this moment. You connect to something deep. Spirituality could be, singing a hymn. It could be making love to somebody that you love deeply. It could be being present when somebody dies. It could be just enjoying a cup of tea and taking a deep breath. There's something larger going on. So to me, why would you want to go through life feeling the only thing available to you is the heaviness, the disconnection, all of the division you see, which I think is this illusion. I believe that everybody right now is so beaten down and self-silencing. The vast majority of us, 90% of us, want the same things. We believe in the same things. We may disagree on how to get there. Like, is it 2 hours a day in the school? Is it 3 hours a day in the school? I don't know. How do we pay for it? I don't know. We'll figure it out. You have to get intentional about allowing happiness back in.
You do this in a lot of different ways. You've
Yes.
talked about a lot of modalities.